All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ladies Lounge with Wonder Lowe. I'm your host, Wonder Lowe, and after last night, y'all, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know where you were last night, but man, we had a storm in Benton, and we had about some golf ball size hail. So it was a little scary there for a moment or two, and I was sitting there and I was listening, and I'm like, it's raining, and I could hear the rain hitting. Now all of a sudden you hear this other noise that comes in, and it's this roaring sound. So having experienced being around a tornado before, I was like, okay, is that a tornado? Is there something else going on? And got up and looked outside, and it's just totally white. All you see is these golf ball size pieces of ice all over the place. Needless to say, our cars took a beating. So you see me riding around town in my dinged up car. That's what did it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. The hail did it last night. But anyway, I thank God that we all made it through the storm okay. I know we're supposed to get some bad weather again tonight. So if you're in those areas where that weather is getting like that, be cautious. Make sure that you have a safe place to go if there is tornado weather in your area. And make sure that you're paying attention to all the newscasts that's going on. All right, we're going to just do a little brief housekeeping tonight because I want to make sure we get to our guest. And she has an absolutely amazing story. I don't know how many of you all may have seen the promo for the show. And I'm going to start doing better about getting those out a little bit earlier. This one was kind of almost last minute, but we got it out there anyway. But she has a testimony. And I hate calling it a story because it's bigger than a story. This is a testimony. And when I was listening to her talk about it or tell me about it last night, you're going to get chills, you're going to get thrills, you're going to get a little nervous, you're going to have some goosebumps. It's just a whole lot that you're going to get from listening to her. So I'm so glad that she's here with us tonight. So housekeeping, of course, is if you can see the little thing that scrolls at the bottom of the screen, please go over to those pages and to that channel and like, follow, and subscribe. Make sure that you click on the button, on the little bell on YouTube, so you can always get the alerts when the new videos post. And of course, you can always follow me on Facebook. And my page is The Ladies Lounge with Wonder Lowe. So make sure you hit both of those and follow us and keep up what we have going on. All right. Like I said, don't want to talk a whole lot tonight. I want y'all to hear this testimony so y'all can get the shocks and thrills that I got out of it. So y'all see this beautiful lady sitting, and I always point to the wrong direction, but I got it right that time. She's sitting on that side. I point the other way because I'm looking in the camera opposite, and I'll be like, she over there, and I'll be pointing the wrong way. She said, damn it, I did it. Wait a minute, that way. Get my hands. I got it. She's sitting over there. See, that's a beautiful soul sitting over there. This lady has a story to tell, and I want you to get every bit of it. But let me give you just a little bit of background on her first. And let me put my eyeballs on so I can see. Now look, I'm still going to read like Mr. Magoo up at the bottom because I got on bifocals, y'all. So y'all see me doing this, I'm reading at the bottom of my glasses. All right. A 20-minute near-death out-of-body experience is the catalyst for Shawnise Chantell's new book, God Within the Lily. The author's debut memoir is the harrowing account of how she almost lost her life and gained salvation. Now, I'm going to skip down because I want her to tell you a little bit more about her background. But she's going to tell you about... No, I don't want to tell you anything. I want her to tell you. So, first, let me welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for contacting me. I am overjoyed to have you here tonight, and even more overjoyed for people to hear your testimony and for you to be able to give it. So I want you first to just kind of say, tell a little bit about yourself, your family, where you were raised or where you're born or where you're from. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to give you the floor, honey.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much for having me. My name is author Shawnise Chantell. I am 36 years old. I am the mother of 3 amazing daughters right here in Central Arkansas. I came from a respectable background, that you got to work hard for things you want in life. I was raised by a village as well as my mother, who was a single parent. And, I just went through a lot of things as far as early teenage pregnancies sorry about that. Just different challenges in life that led me to this very moment of talking with you.
All right. So I don't want to give any of the story away because I want you to be able to tell all of it. But just let's talk about how. Let's just tell us what happened. Let's do that. Let's start with what happened.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have so at the time I had a 16-year-old. Then I had a less than 1-year-old, and then I ended up going into the hospital to have my third child. I went in to have my third child, and I had a scheduled tubal ligation, we also known as got my tubes tied. And so right after I delivered the baby, got my tubes tied, and then I started to go downhill. I'm not sure why at the time I was going downhill. I didn't even know anything about what was going on with my health, but I started to show signs of something that was wrong, or the surgery went wrong. So low blood pressure, fainting, and my stomach was hurting very, very bad, my abdomen. So they figured they was going to give me an NG tube. And usually once a woman have a baby, she has to have like a bowel move before leaving the hospital, right? So I wasn't having one, and I was just too afraid to eat due to the fact that my stomach was hurting. So I ended up having a feeding tube. So they thought that was going to fix the problem. I made it to day 6, and day 6 I was on the edge of death at that point. I became very, very hot. My sister was very frantic because they would give me a cold towel, ice. They would push my bed over there by the vent, but I was just burning up. Now, my sister, who has a background within the medical field, she thought to herself, Niecy must have an infection. Niecy is a childhood name that everyone know me by. So Niecy must have an infection. Mm-hmm. So my mom agreed and contacted the nurse. The nurse contacted the doctor. The doctor was gone for the day. And my mom insisted that someone come and check on me right now. So my mom being persistent, they went ahead and did a CT scan of my abdomen, and come to find out, they found that I had fecal matter going within my bloodstream. So that doctor got called back that was going on, and they rushed me into emergency exploratory surgery. They wasn't sure what they were going to find. They were just exploring what could be wrong with my issues that it was going on. So once they opened me up, what flowed out was, I call it infection, but they call it suctus. And then they found that I had a bunch of abscesses. Now, as further looking at my abdomen and my intestine, the doctor noticed that I had a nick bowel. And so they had to get that cleaned up. Then they put a wound vac on me. They put some drainage to drain the infection. And then they sent me off to CCU. When they sent me out to CCU, culture was done, and come to find out I had 3 deadly infections. Wow. Also, I began to throw up my bowels, which they knew that was very, very wrong, of course.
Yeah,
and so then I also had collapsed lung. Now I made it out of CCU, and then I made it back to like a regular room. And then I started having upper respiratory failure. So I started having anxiety attacks. So they sent me back to CCU, and this was on my birthday. Mm-hmm. Then they came to tell me that you have congestive heart failure, renal failure, upper respiratory failure. And that was on my birthday. So I didn't have cake and ice cream or anything like that. I did have some balloons, but so that's what they told me on my birthday. So I got through all that, and things seemed like it was getting better. Then they got worse and got better and worse. Made it back to the floor. When I made it back to the floor, they told me that I had double pneumonia. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing after the next. So I figured double pneumonia, that's probably going to take me out. My lungs is already weak. I'm already tired, but my mom would not let me give up. Her, my sister, my dad came to the hospital, made sure I walked. The nurses kept turning me, and I beat pneumonia within 3 days. Wow. Now, after that, I was getting a lot better, and Bernie told me to, every time the doctor come in, to tell them that you're ready to go home, because they got to go through a board meeting in order to send you home. So I had about 7 doctors, and a doctor would start his rounds around about 4:00 in the morning. So I started working on them. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. I can take care of myself, ready to go home. My mind was telling me you're ready, but my body was saying something totally different. Now, I worked everybody, the doctors, all the way to the very end. I finally got the okay that I'm about to go home the following day. And so they were preparing everything, the wound vac and everything just really prepped as far as your discharge. My sister came by as a normal day because she worked nearby. We was singing praises and worship and laughing and giggling. And she left me with, I'll pick you up in the morning. I love you, sis. I'm like, okay, sis, I love you. And so she left. By the time she made it home, she got a frantic call to come back to the hospital. Now, within this time, a nurse walked in very fast. And because I guess the heart monitoring team told them that my heart was throwing off rhythm. And so she rushed in along with the head doctor. And by the time the head doctor came in, I already jumped to a stabilization. And so they left. Now, within 15 minutes, they get another call from the heart monitor team that's stacked, most likely cold blue. And so they rushed back. The head doctor said, I just left her 15 minutes ago. So they came back and they asked me how I was doing. Now, I remember seeing them come in, but I couldn't respond. And immediately, as soon as they asked me, I flatlined. It's like, eh. Then, thankfully, they started working on me for 20 minutes. So, thankfully, they gave me 5 shocks. They put a lupus device on me. But within that process, as soon as my heart stopped, I went to a separate place. I realized, I was like, that's strange. My body is there, but I'm here. In reference to, I'm no longer part of that hospital or that body. I'm like, oh, I just died. I didn't mean to die because I've been fighting. I didn't fall through respiratory failure. I didn't fight through those deadly infections, pneumonia, double pneumonia. I fought through all that. So for me to say that, for me to know that I'd given up, or maybe it was because I let myself be free. But anyway, it was just so easy just to let go, and very unexpected. And so I was nervous because I realized I was leaving back my daughter. But as I began to be comfortable, and I was just, it's like God said it's going to be okay. And then as I start feeling light as a feather, and I start flowing through this tunnel, and I can see this light. And as I got closer to the light, it's gotten bigger, and it was like pulling me. And I started seeing coloristic lights, and I started hearing instrumental music. And I wasn't worried. I wasn't thirsty. I wasn't hungry. There was no notion of time. I didn't know that I was in this place for 20 minutes. For me, it felt like eternity. But clinically, I was just without oxygen for 20 minutes. And so after I started to flow towards prayers. I started to hear what people were praying on my behalf. I didn't know who was praying, but I just knew someone was praying. And for me, they felt like gifts, like all of this is for me. So I know prayers reach the ears of God. After that, I can remember going into this valley. I would say a lily in a valley, because within that valley was one particular flower that really stood out. I can see the flow of energy and light, and it was like pulsating, like it was communicating with me. And it is my belief that was God communicating, downloading information, showing me a lot of things. And that is what I can recall. I believe a lot of my memory is over there. But what's important for me to share is what I have placed in my book, as well as what I'm placing, as well as what I am inspiring people all around the world. Now, once I saw that, I came back, and it was almost like I was sent back, and my body just it was like I was going through a portal. And so I was told that they put me in an induced coma for 48 hours. And about time that I opened my eyes, I asked my mom what happened. And they actually didn't know if I was going to be effectual or not. So that was kind of surprised that I opened my eyes and started talking. And so my mom said, "Niecy, you died." And I was like, "What? No, I didn't." And so my sister was there. And so I started asking my sister. I went, asked my sister, like, "Tia, what happened?" She said, Nisi, you died. I said, no, I didn't. What happened? So I was kept on asking her what happened because I didn't register that my brain was like, I was having memory loss because they gave me something to wipe off the memory, to wipe out the trauma. And I didn't even remember the afterlife until a year later. So anyway, my sister told me what happened. And then I finally got discharged. I got discharged with an IV, with a wound vac, as well as a life vest. December the 4th, 2019, because I always happened, the event started on July the 20th, 2019. So December the 4th, September 11th, I was discharged. December the 4th is when I received the pacemaker. And then the following year, I was looking at television, and a lady, she was being resuscitated and she was going into cardiac arrest. And from there, it triggered my own event. And so I started to have flashbacks, and I became angry. I became nervous, anxiety, went to a deep depression. And then my dad suggested that I speak with a psychiatrist. And so I contacted a psychiatrist, and also I had counseling as well. And I had numerous of sessions with her. And she finally said, Shawnise, you need to write a book. The next time you come see me, you better have a book or something written down, because you need this for therapeutic healing. Every time that I see you and speak to you, something new transpired, and you need to write these things down. And you'll be amazed of what type of healing you'll get from it. So I went home. I did what she said because I trusted her. And I started writing, and everything started to flow. And by the time I was done, I ended up with pages. So I ended up contacting Irish Williams with the Butterfly Typeface Publishing House, reached out to her. She was very inspired with my story, and she helped me with the project of bringing my whole story to light. And so from there, my psychiatrist also did my foreword, because she remembers seeing me from my initial visit, where I was having, I had an oxygen, or I just got off oxygen. No, I just had my pacemaker placement. That's what it was. Just had my pacemaker placement. So she kind of remembered how I looked and everything. And she knew where I was at mentally when I first spoken with her. And that is really what has transpired within myself and everything, and as well as my experience. Can you hear me?
I was muted. It's not
okay.
I muted myself.
Okay, girl.
I'm sorry.
I was like, I hope they heard me.
No. They could hear you. They couldn't hear me. I had myself.
Oh, I got
my
you.
My sinuses are bothering me, and I'm trying not to cough and sneeze while we're talking. So I mute myself. But I know we talked last night, and I told y'all when she started talking, you're gonna get amazed and have chills and some of everything else. And we got a question in the comments. She says, "Were you upset because you wanted to stay, or because you didn't remember?"
You know what? That was a good question. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Actually, I was in between wanting to stay and wanting to get back to my baby. I don't think I had the choice. I believe my grandfather was talking on my behalf to the ears of God. And I believe that I was sent back. I was shown these things for God's glory. And that's why I went through all of these medical things, so God can get the glory. I was upset because it wasn't my fault. I was blaming myself, I decided to get my tubes tied. I decided to have the baby. And if I didn't get my tubes tied, or then all of this would never happen. But it was all about God's plans. Unfortunately, for the doctor, it happened underneath her watch. But I was mad because I lost out of so much time with my baby. I lost out of that 1-year-old first birthday. That baby, I had to send her to her first time dad up to 6 months. I couldn't breastfeed her. So I was mad because I'm no longer the person that I used to be. I got these real horrific scars. I am feeling less independent. I have to rely upon my heart. I'm not doing things that I used to do. So I guess I was grieving. I was mad because I was grieving about the old Shawnise, and it felt like a loss to me. So I think that's why I was mad. But as I told my story and I written the book, I began to feel some form of salvation and love, and I started to know that that it wasn't my fault, that this is a purpose, and I forgave myself and I forgave the doctor who made that mistake, and took so much time away from me and my girls. So that's what I was angry about.
Thank you for answering that. I know we talked a little bit last night, and I want to ask you. You shared your story on several platforms, and I looked at your page last night and some of the things you've done. How have you felt or reacted to people not believing you? Because remember, I shared something with you about with me, and then people kind of looking at you going, I don't really believe that happened, and you just didn't have oxygen, so you imagine it. How have you taken people, or how have you reacted or felt about people not believing you when you share your story?
Well, that is a good question. So when I shared my story, I have more positive reaction than negative. I might have had maybe one or two of negative. But when I shared my story one particular time, I did have a negative comment. And I know that comes with it. My story is only meant for those that is meant to hear and be inspired by it. So I understand those things are going to come to, because it was my experience. It's almost like you got to be there. No matter what I say, it's hard to describe and my mind to fathom what really took place. There's no words to really describe it. But for me, I know that everything that I spoke medically is aligned in my medical record. Yeah. And I cannot be a false witness. I cannot hold this story to myself, because I will be denying God's miracle. Because even myself reading everything and knowing what everything I've been through, if someone would have told me that I was going to go through all of this and would survive, I would have think that you were crazy. Yeah. Going through pneumonia, congestive heart failure, everything in line. Because even after I got the hospital for 54 days, I ended with stroke-like symptoms, and then E. coli. So it's like one thing after the other. But my survival through all of that is giving God the glory. That's the whole purpose, is giving God the glory and spreading his love, and knowing that where I went, it's a place that God has prepared, not only for me, but for everyone. And so I know that's gonna come. So I don't go back until I done been through a lot of negative things. And thank goodness through counseling, I'm now focused on everything that's positive. So those negative comments don't even fade me, because the bigger aspect of it is inspiring others. It's the positivity and the energy that's coming behind it. I don't waste energy on the negative comments. Amen. I have to focus on what God wants me to focus on, which is trying to heal and trying to save others, and to make myself vulnerable as a vessel to share my experience. So, honey, I don't worry about the negative stuff.
There you go. Shake them off. Because in the big picture, it does not matter. Shake the devil off, huh? Yeah, exactly. In the big picture, it really does not matter. It don't matter. God, it don't matter. As well as I do, that it was God's grace and mercy.
Life is so short that you cannot waste time on all these negative things. I was just here, just talking to the nurse as I'm talking to you, and then next thing you know, I didn't die for 20 minutes. So that tells you right there that it was no signs. I had no. Nobody threw me no lifeline, or it was an appointment that I had to meet. I couldn't call in. I couldn't cancel. There was no show. It was an appointment that I had with God. And for that, I know that it was only for me. And whatever I seen was for me to come back and share. So if you believe it or not, I know.
There you go.
That my story is true, that my testimony is real. My family know. And that was really is inspiring about my book, because it holds truth, it holds weight, and it holds a miracle that is untouchable. Because God is the only
live a miracle.
Yeah, it's a miracle. it's a miracle. It's like raising Lazarus from dead. I was gone. I couldn't bring myself back.
Nope.
I couldn't bring myself back, even if I tried.
Mm-hmm.
Death was not in my hands. God had to be the one to send me back. You know, I couldn't turn around. That light was pulling me. You know, it was calling me. Some people say that, well, don't look at the light. You can't help but to look at the light. And then whatever you see, there's no need of turning behind to see whatever's behind you, because your peripheral vision, you can see everything. It's endless. And so, but that was the best experience. I did not have a bad experience. My fear and everything, it just come from not being ready to go again. I have fear of falling asleep, and I have fear of maybe needles or the hospital, but I'm dealing with that. And this is a part of my therapeutic healing, is speaking about it, seeking help, and just sharing my story. That is my thrive to get over the hurdles that I've been through and that I'm going through. You know, I was taking 20 something pills. Now I'm down, I believe maybe 8 or 9. I deal with a lot of herbals. And so I went to cardiac rehab. So I've really been working on myself and eating a better diet, and working on myself mentally. My heart is pumping better than ever before. And so I'm just thankful just to be alive. Just to be alive.
Amen again.
Amen, girl.
I was getting ready to ask you, what are some of the challenges you face right now, but you just hit that. So, but you know what? Like I said, last night when you were talking, sometimes you could listen to somebody and I couldn't speak. I know you thought I wasn't listening. It was just, you were talking about the experience, and especially when you talked about the light. And I shared with you my experience. And I'm going, oh my God.
And let me share something else with you too, Miss Lowe. I spoke to you last night about this, and as far as my recovery go, and I think the hardest part was jumping back into motherhood. Because if you could imagine, I had to hold a newborn as I was recovering into one hand. The other hand, I had an IV flowing. On my back, it was the IV medicine, as well as the battery for the life vest and the wound vac. And so, but I had family support. So, but I think that I thought that my babies had forgotten about me. And I think that was the hardest thing is that, and then trying to have a bowel move or trying to bathe, just really relying upon everything. And my dad nursed me back. He said he don't nurse. He said I'm gonna nurse my baby back.
Mommy, hey, mommy.
This is my baby. I'm so sorry.
Mommy.
And so he did that. But she said, "Hi, Naomi." And see, but that's
got a Naomi too. I have a great
Naomi. Speaking of Naomi Grace, so I had a Naomi type of spirit in the hospital, which I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful because give me 1 second. Now you got to go in the room, baby. And so, but anyway, I'm so thankful because Naomi name came within my spirit as she was in my womb. And but what I did not know is I would need that Naomi Grace in order to get through, because I felt forgotten by God. You know, I was tired in the hospital. One thing was after another. And I demanded to God, I said, now you said in your word that if I have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will bring me through. And by your stripes, I am healed. So you got to do something, Lord. I'm tired. But I didn't want to die in order to get out the hospital. But I still wanted to be free. But, and so that's why my daughter's name, her name, Naomi Grace, really resonated, because as I was in a hospital, not only did I want to get back to Naomi Grace, but I have her name. Naomi, you gotta go. Mommy is on live. Because she's just running her mouth. I'm gonna open the door real quick.
Okay, go ahead. She just reloaded.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're
fine. Make sure that I make clarity and to get the word out real quick. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Come on, Nene. Come here. Mommy on live. Come on, Mommy.
That is funny because I have a Naomi also. I have a granddaughter named Naomi. which I'll brag about her for just a second. She got baptized this
Hey, you gotta
past
stop getting her.
Sunday at 3 years old. She decided that she was ready to be baptized.
I am so sorry. I am back. I know
You're
it was
fine,
gone
darling.
for a second, but she unplugged it, honey.
I was talking about my Naomi. I have a Naomi that's 3 years old.
Children, mm-hmm. I enjoy every single moment of my babies, and you just never know what may take place. They'll make you laugh. They just keep you on your toes when it comes to motherhood. But I am just glad just to have my babies.
I know you are.
All right, let's continue on. I am sorry, people.
No, you are fine, honey. Look, Mama come first.
Girl, what you talking about?
You hit on the book a little bit, so give everybody a little teaser or tell us how we can get your book, where it's going to be available, or if you can pre-order, or give some details about your book.
Absolutely. So the book is being released through Butterfly Typeface Publishing House. Within the book, there is going to be some wonderful stuff. There's going to be some big stuff that I want to share with you guys. There are going to be interviews from my parents in there. There are going to be some things that I've seen in the afterlife that I also included and I recap. There's going to be several reviews that many people around the world have reached out to me. So I have their comments within the book as well as on my website. So you can go to www.Shawnise Chantell, that's SHAWNISE CHANTELL.com. Make sure you subscribe because the book is going to come out in summer of this year. However, it's a possibility it could come out early, but the only way to find out, if you subscribe, you will get a message from me that the book is out. But you can also pre-order right now. Mm-hmm. It will be in Amazon.com and other bookstores, but if you pre-order right now, I would love to sign your copy, and you are guaranteed that signed copy. Also, you can reach me on almost any social media platforms. We got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, honey, all that. Mm-hmm. Mainly on Facebook. And if you search author Shawnise Chantell, you will find me.
All right.
And I do have a phone number. That is 612-787-7073. That's 612-PURPOSE.
Oh, I like that.
Hey.
Okay. Now look, while we at it, go ahead and plug. If folks want to interview you or have you on the show, how can they call that number?
Yeah, if you want to interview me, just go to my website, www.ShawniseChantell.com, and hit contact. There's a contact tab. And if you hit that contact tab, put in your information, it's going to go through my The Shawnise Chantell Story Gmail. And that's the best way to contact me. But you can also contact the Butterfly Typeface Publishing House. Iris Williams is another outlet where you can also reach me. But website is first.
All right. Is it any words of wisdom you want to give us today based on your experience?
Absolutely. So most importantly is that God is love. Stay plugged to God. Okay. And I want my story to be out there to inspire everyone. I want someone to have my story to resonate and to know that reach out to me. Let me know if my story resonates with you. If you feel that I got the courage and something I did or said that allowed you not to give up. Mm-hmm. And that's really a part of my story. Help me share. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend. Share this video now. My baby done came in on it, but share it because kids are a blessing from God.
Yep.
And that baby has something to say. Now, she be running mouth, so I don't know too much what she was saying, but she has something to say. But yeah, it's just to stay plugged to God. Love. If you have anything that you need to forgive someone on, forgive, because life is short. Yeah. One day we here, the next day we're not. And at the end of the day, when it's your eulogy, what would people say about you? And so that's why I want people to say that Shawnise had courage, that she told her story, that she lived in her purpose. And because I know that I still have to go like we all do one day. Yeah. Not anytime soon, but one day.
So I ain't rushing you now.
I ain't rushing you, Lord. And give me some time. I ain't rushing you now. Give me plenty more years. Plenty more years.
I told y'all, that there was going to be a testimony that was going to rock you just a little bit. Because again, when we were talking last night and she was telling me, I'm be honest with you, I was sitting on the phone like this. My mouth was just open because I'm going, for one person to survive all of that. Now notice she said 3 deadly infections and congestive heart failure and pneumonia and all these other things are going on. And you just think you get one of those things that can take you out. And she had all of them, you know, and to survive that and to be able to come back and tell what you saw and what you experienced. Yes, Lord, you have opened. And I feel like when we share stories like this, it does give other people permission to tell their truths also. Sometimes, you know, there's somebody watching or may watch the video later on. A lot of people watching replay because technically we're on during dinner time. So watching replay, and the comments that you'll get on some of the shows is like people are looking for someone to open the door for them to be able to tell their story also.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about it, you know, when you tell somebody you've had a near-death experience, unless they know you really well, and like I told you about what I told you last night, unless people know you really well and they've known you for years and they know that you don't lie about stuff or you don't make up stuff, it's hard for people to grasp the bigness of it. Because you're telling me that you left here and you came back, that you were literally gone for 20 minutes and you came back. So a lot of people are going, no, it's all in your mind. It didn't really happen. You just lost too much oxygen. You were imagining things. No, it's real.
It's definitely real. Yeah. You know, also, you know, and I'm gonna just touch this subject now. So I am an African American woman, as you can see, right? And so, but you know, there is statistics that show that African American women has the highest rate when it comes to childbirth as far as death and injury. And so I was complaining, but here's the encouragement: when you know something's not right, and your family knows something is not right, to always have a voice and just stay at it, because you know your body more than anybody. And that's what happened. We just kept on them, and something ain't right. I'm hurting. This is real. And so that's why I wanted to also get people, you know, and also, you know, tubal ligation. There's a lot of successful stories, but unfortunately things happen and things go wrong. And so, but that's the beauty of it, because you don't look like what you've been through. You know, I may not look like I'm disabled. I may not look like I was just walking with a cane or a walker, but that's where the glory come from. Because this just happened 2 years ago. You know, I got a long ways ahead of me. I have to get another battery. The pacemaker I got now was on recall. And that's the fear of being shocked or going back into a surgery quicker than within 3 to 5 years. And now it's on like 75%. So now I got something in me that runs off of a battery. But I'm thankful for it. But, you know, it's just looking ahead. And, you know, you don't know who's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. That's true. So that's why we always got to be kind. And we always got to be able to listen to everyone and grab each other's testimony. And so I would love for someone to reach out to me. Let's network. Let's discuss what you've been through, what I've been through, and let's come together for the glory of God.
Amen.
Amen again, sister.
There you go. I think
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Probably about a week or so ago, I shared something on the page, and I think it probably confused a lot of folks, because again, like you said, just because you don't look like people, I have a friend, and I swear he used to tease me all the time. He said, "You are the sickest." No, he said, "You're the healthiest looking sick person I've ever met." I don't look like what my medical records look like. Now, my story is not nearly as rough as yours, but
you look good, honey. You look good.
Thank you, girl. But some of the stuff I've gone through with my heart, and he'll go, I don't believe. I've had people tell me they don't believe I'm sick. I'm like, well, I can't like walk around my medical records and show you, but I can take you to the doctor and let him show you. Now, I will share this with you. I went to the doctor. This was last year, August or September last year, and I dress how I dress. Everybody knows me knows that I don't leave out of the house without I have a matching earrings and necklace to go with everything. I've been like that since I was a teenager. And I go to the doctor looking like I'm going to work. So of course I had on business casual, had my earrings on, my necklace, had my little face done, had everything on, but I had on a mask. And I'm sitting there, and the doctor is reading my file. And every so often he'll read, and then he'll look at me. He'll look back at the file. He'll read a little bit more. He'll look at me again. And he did it like 3 or 4 times, and I finally said, "What are you thinking of?" He said, "I'm having a hard time believing that the person I'm reading about in this file is you."
My Lord.
He was like, "You don't look like any of this is going on with you." And at the time, I'll just tell you this, I have, I'm battling 5 different illnesses right now.
Wow.
So he was looking at me like, this is like the file of an 80s. This is not you. And I was just sitting there smiling, everything he said. I was talking to, but the look on his face was like, this cannot possibly be who I'm looking at. So I read, after you go to the doctor, you write their notes down or whatever. So and I went back in, I checked my record, and I read his notes, and it was like he was like, what was I, 53 then? It was like 53-year-old African American woman in good spirits, looked good. He had this whole description of how I looked, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not medical. But he was like, I just can't see how this is you.
Wow.
On paper, I look horrible.
I know it. That's how my heart. That's how my heart transplant doctor felt too. And he was like, I can't believe, Shawnise, that you didn't made it this far. You look good.
Girl, you look good.
And you was looking like a deer with headlights. Your eyes were bugged. You were sick.
But you have no idea.
First, but you
look beautiful. You don't.
Oh, thank you, girl. It's grace, honey, and glory and mercy.
Don't Grace look good?
Yes, sure
Grace
do,
Mercy
honey.
Look real good.
It sure do.
If I saw you on the street, if I saw you on the street, I would think nothing was going on.
Wow.
So that's the beauty of it, that we don't look like what we're going through, and don't look like what you're dealing with. Because I can get up and run with the best of them every day and be hurt with whatever's going on.
I don't know about running now, but I'll give it my best shot.
No, okay. Let me rephrase that. How about I can walk a little faster? Because I can't run no more. I can't run no more. I got too many things that jiggle and pop if I run. So,
girl, me either. I used to run up and down Pinnacle Mountain and jumping out airplanes. It's a lot of stuff that I can't.
Wait a minute.
It's a lot of stuff I can't do no more.
Let's go back. You said jumping out of airplanes last night. What? Talk about the jumping out the airplane part.
Now listen. So I didn't remember my birthdays coming up. Right. And so in my 30s, I had the notion that I'm going to remember my 30s every birthday. And so on my 30th birthday, I was like, I'm going to just jump out of airplane. Now, what I hear was black people don't jump out of airplane. Black people don't learn how to swim. And so I was getting calls to make sure I landed properly. But don't get me wrong. I was nervous and scared too. I didn't eat or drink because I knew I was going to jump out the airplane, but I knew that I was going to be attached to a trainer, and he probably was going to push me out there because we reached ground zero and I just had to go. So by the time I jumped out, I felt like as though I was a superhero. And the amazing thing about it, I was able to see God's creation, the horizon, and I was flowing through the clouds, and it was just very, very pretty. But I remember the 30th. Now thereafter, I remember the 31st because that tattoo, so I can remember, right? And between 33 and 34, that's when I was sick. Okay. So my next birthday, I'm gonna try to make it so memorable. But my 30th jumping out of airplane. I don't think I'd do it again because I don't want my heart to stop in midair. It's just certain things that I wouldn't do stuff like I used to do. Yeah. But see, I don't think the way I used to think neither. And the places I used to go, I don't go no more.
All right now.
So, girl, don't get me started now.
Go and praise it. Go and praise it. We can do that too. And the grace and mercy is a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
It tickles me when I don't ever argue religion or belief systems with anybody because I know what I know and I believe what I believe, and ain't nothing nobody can say that's gonna change it. I know there is a God, and I know that He has blessed me tremendously and on too many different occasions where I should have been gone and I wasn't. So
I mean, just looking at us, this is looking at you, looking at me. Now there has to be if we went through what we went through and we survived and we here, there has to be a God, a being behind this. We just not automatically just breathing. It's got to be somebody. Look, I'm just somebody trying to tell everybody about a bigger somebody who can save anybody.
Amen. All right, we're gonna mess around and have church. And I just love it. That is quite all right. We can always praise God and thank you. We can always praise God and thank you, honey. Yes, He does. You know what? And since you said that, it made me think about something. I know He has a sense of humor because some of the stuff that you think when you're going through things, you have to later on that when you in it, it's not funny. But once you get through it on the other side, you going, man, what was I? You trip because you like, how did I can remember being on that side and being so sick and thinking, okay, come on, man. I told you about it. I was like, come on, Lord, come see about me. I'm hurting, Lord. I'm hurting. Come see about me. And going from saying that and laying there groaning and moaning in pain to feeling totally peaceful. No pain, no anything.
Ooh.
And then when you
get the best feeling.
Yes, and then when you get to that, then when you get off that other side, you're going, wow.
Yes.
It's amazing because you don't know how you got through it. He carried you through it. He brought you through it. He saved you through it. He blessed you through it. He healed you through it.
Yes.
You don't even know. When you get to the other side of stuff, you don't even know how you got there. So sometimes I think about things and I laugh because I can remember negotiating and making some promises. If you just give me this, if you'll just do this, I will do this. If you'll just bless me here, if you'll bring me through this, because we didn't even talk about what I was telling about the hard stuff with me, but just some of the things that I've gone through. And when you were telling your story last night, I was like, you know what? Where is it? When you are confirmation for me.
Oh, amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Girl, that gave me goosebumps.
For me. And I told you about my mom. Confirmation. Because unless you've been through some things, unless your body has, as I used to say, unless your body's forsaken you, and you've been in a place where you couldn't depend on anybody but God, and you knew it wasn't a doctor, you knew it wasn't you knew it wasn't anybody around you, you don't understand the experience.
Girl, I'm just lift up my hands.
That's it. You got to know.
I can't say nothing else.
There you go. You wave your hand.
You've done enough.
Yes. So it's some things that, I will hope that people that are watching, if anybody else has had that experience, please reach out. I'd love to have you on the show to talk about it. I'd love to have a group of people to talk about it because I really want to hear what experiences other folks have had. I'd share mine, you can share yours. And I know that we're not the only ones, you know that for a fact. But I look at years ago when mine happened, and mine happened when I was in my however old I was in 19, oh Lord, not 19. Oh, it was 19 something, wasn't it?
Yeah, you think you said something. Yeah,
1980.
Yeah, you did say about 1992 or something like that. Don't get me lying. I think you're on the right path. Keep on going. Look,
well, I said 19. I got scared. I was like, wait a minute, 19.
Where the time go, right?
Yeah, because it's 2000
ago. You say centuries ago.
Yeah, mine happened in 1980. I tell you what, December 18th at 3:18 in the afternoon, in 1989.
Wow, I was 4 years old.
So I know the exact time. I know the exact place when it happened. And my son is now, however old it is, 30-something years old. So, yeah, 33. He'll be 30, he's 30. He just turned 33. So, yep. So,
what's pretty amazing, though, too, is, I believe that what all we've seen is bigger than what the mind could fathom. Because if we were able to tell it all, you wouldn't want to come back to Earth because everything would be in a rearview mirror. You wouldn't. It was a place that you wouldn't want to come back to this turmoil and stress and depressed and negativity, you know. So that's the beauty of it all, that God has given us the memory to share with one another, to a certain extent, that we know his existence. And so
it's way bigger. I know we were talking about last night that you really can't put words to it. There's no way
I ain't
to
got that
absolutely
vocabulary,
describe.
honey.
We
I
don't
have the vocabulary.
I told you, me and my mom talked about it for quite a few times, and neither one of us could put words to it because it's so unimaginable and it's so big that you can't, like you said, it's not something that you can fathom. Your mind can't go that large. So I agree with you. I think he only lets us remember what we need to remember.
Yeah, because even if didn't have no oxygen, right, your heart wasn't beating, you have to think to yourself that what happened within those 20 minutes.
Yeah,
like what happened to a person when they're gone for 20, something gotta take place. So it has to be something that a person have seen for 20 minutes. I mean, your mind don't go blank, your spirit goes, so it had to be something to take place. So, you know, I wouldn't understand why there would be a disbelief.
Exactly.
Just by seeing or knowing that a person has survived. And I can't, you know what? I'm not gonna be the one.
We ain't gonna try to figure it out.
I ain't gonna be the one to deny God. I'm gonna just tell my story and his glory.
And keep it moving.
I'm above the ground and not the ground on top of me.
Amen. That's it.
Amen.
That is it. That is it. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell us? Again, give the contact information and how we can get your information on your book again.
Okay, so once again, you guys can follow me on all type of social media platforms. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got Twitter. I mean, just all you got to do is go in there and type in author Shawnise Chantell. I bet you'll find me. But also you can go to www.ShawniseChantell.com, subscribe, and if you want to contact me, there's another tab right there for you. Just hit that contact button, put in your information, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But that's the way to contact me. Or you could just call my number at 612-787-7073 or 612-PURPOSE. And I got you. And don't forget to get that book.
There we go. All right. Well, ma'am, it was wonderful speaking with you tonight.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. God bless you. Make sure that you keep us updated, you know, and close to the time when the book releases, come back and let's talk about your book.
Oh, amen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, come back and let's talk about your book. And in the meantime, if you know of somebody else, or if y'all that's watching and listening, if y'all know of somebody that's had a similar experience, please, ma'am, please, sir, get them in contact with me. I would love to hear other people's experience with this.
You got my word.
This happens way more than people think.
Don't be afraid to talk about it.
Exactly. A lot of people are afraid to talk about it because they think nobody's going to believe what they're saying. So this happens way more than what we think it does. So if you've experienced this, and what I'm talking about is a near-death experience or an out-of-body experience, because some people call it that and some people say near-death. But if you've had either of those experiences, please, ma'am, please, sir, you know, get in contact. I would love to get you and Shawnise together and we all talk and just discuss, because I feel like, okay, Donette, I sure will. I feel like there's so many more people that need to have a platform and have an open audience, or just even if it's a small group of, even though probably some million folks can see this eventually. But, you know, people need a place to feel comfortable when telling and giving their testimonies and not having to deal with a lot of negativity, a lot of doubt. Because I'm going to tell you now, if you tell me, I'm going to believe you because I know. I know what I know.
Yeah, I know you do, honey.
I know what I know.
Amen.
I know what I know. So I would love to get some other folks on to talk. So get in contact with me. Y'all know you can reach me anytime. And my phone number is 501-612-8187. You can email me at the Ladies Lounge. Why do I always forget my own email? The Ladies Lounge 1050@gmail.com. Or you can just message me on any of the social media. On Facebook, I am Wonder Lowe, or you can just post on my page and I'll get in contact with you. Or if you end up watching this video, just post in the comments on this video and I will definitely get in contact with you. Done that, message me your phone number and I will surely give you a call, dear. But I am just so glad that you were able to make time and spend a little time with us this evening to give us your testimony. Again, like I said, keep us updated.
It's been a joy and a pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much. Hey, always a blessing. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for watching, for tuning in each week. Make sure that you come back next week. As always, let me look. Let's give God some more glory before we get out of here right quick. Because I got to tell y'all this. Let me tell you something. It's weeks where y'all know that I'm the producer, the editor, the copy. I do the whole nine. I'm a one-woman show. But it's weeks when I struggle to find a topic or I struggle to find somebody to be a guest. And I'm going to tell you something. God never fails. God never fails. I can be thinking in one direction and he'll say, no. Here's this person that has to tell this story. No. Here's this person that needs to talk about their book. Here's this person that needs to talk about their business. Here's this person who needs to promote an activity. And guess what? I have no problems with getting folks to come on. And I don't say that because it's something that I'm doing. I think it's because it's something that he's doing. Because even when I'm struggling and I can't think of a topic, trust me when I say, I'll get up on Friday morning and somebody will either have emailed me or if I think he'll put somebody on my mind and say, hey, call so-and-so, so-and-so. And if I follow through and I'm obedient, I call that person. Very seldom do I have somebody tell me no. Very seldom. And what I think I'm getting into year 4. 4 years, y'all. Very seldom does somebody tell me they just can't make it. Now, there's been some cases where people have had accidents and things have happened, literally, and they couldn't be on, which those are understandable. But normally, whoever God puts on my mind or my heart to contact to say, hey, let's talk about more about this. Sometimes it's something as simple as I'll see one of y'all's Facebook posts or I'll see a post that you made on some other social media. And I'm like, I want to talk to that person. That person has something more to say. Because sometimes when people post things, some folks, you know how my pastor said, I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. And then sometimes people post things and they mean something totally different. And sometimes you can call, I might shoot them a little message and go, hey, what did you mean when you posted this, and this? And there's a backstory to it. My thing is, let's talk about the backstory. Let's make this a platform to where you're comfortable coming in and sharing things. Because again, what do we want to do? We want to empower, we want to educate and encourage women to live their best lives. So if you have stories that are encouraging, uplifting, educating, please, ma'am, please start contacting me. And remember, we started off not having men on the show, but I've broken that rule a long time ago. So even if it's a guy and he has a story, please get in contact with me and let me know. So anyway, thank y'all again for watching. Thank you, Miss Shawnise. I sure do appreciate you
so much.
You and your babies. And take care. And tell little Naomi, hey girl.
I'm trying to act right. And she always want to talk, trying to steal the show.
You should let her come in and say hi.
I know. But girl, she got it from outside and stuff. I don't want to put it on, everybody see it like that. Us mothers want to make sure because they're the representation of us.
There you go.
So, she wasn't too much camera ready.
Oh my God.
But next time she'll be ready for you. She'll be ready for you.
All right then. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the night. I can smell my dinner and I'm going to enjoy it. Just to mess with y'all head a little bit. I'm making some pork chop. Well, I'm making some jerk pork chop with some what is it? What's the sauce I'm making? With mango salsa and some wild rice. Shut your mouth. And I'm finna go in and tear it up.
I can smell it.
Oh, make sure y'all tune in to May Rose Cafe on Thursday at 7. I'll be continuing my cooking trip. So I'm cooking things from different places or my favorite foods from different places. Last week we did chicken fried steak because we just come from Oklahoma, land of Bigfoot, my boo-boo. He liked chicken fried steak. So that was fun. And this week we're going to be cooking an Arkansas favorite because, that's where I'm from and that's what we're going to eat. So y'all make sure that y'all tune in Thursday on the Mayrose Cafe page at 7 o'clock and come cook with me, talk with me, visit with me while I'm in the kitchen whipping up some stuff. All right. Well,
girl, that's fur baby in the back. Hope y'all ain't hearing that the puppy.
You say your fur baby
making all that noise. My fur baby. I'm just a foster parent right now.
Oh Lord, it's okay. All right, y'all. But thank y'all so much. Have a good rest of the night then. We'll see you later.
You too. And God bless.
You too.